right, it's time now for Fantasy Insurance presented by Geico. Of course, we know there are 4 teams on a bye. That means there are a lot of quarterbacks out this week, so folks are going to need some insurance. We have got some good policies you might be able to find on the waiver wire or maybe on your bench. Either way, we're going to try to help you out with some QB issues you got. Fabs, you have the rookie in your insurance.
Yeah, Baker Mayfield with the little beanie hat, okay?
That's right.
I like the matchup. I said it earlier. The Steelers are tough against the run. They're not tough against the pass. They've given up the second most fantasy points, the second most passing yards, and the third most passing touchdowns to opposing quarterbacks at Heinz Field this season. This is a good matchup for Mayfield, who has given you 17-plus fantasy points in 2 of his last 3 games, including a very solid 20.9 last week.
All right, everybody's playing Red Dead Redemption this week on PS4 and Xbox. I would imagine, Akbar, you got a little Red Dead Redemption right here, huh?
Yeah, that's right. Andy Dalton, I think quietly is, he's having a good season. I mean, you look at where he's ranked just outside the top 15. But yeah, he is coming off of probably his worst game, but I think this is going to be a bounce back game against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. When you look at what he's averaging, 17 fantasy points per game this season, that's serviceable. When you talk about, quarterbacks on a bye, or if you've got whatever you're dealing with on your roster, Andy Dalton is a great fantasy insurance. Not to mention, he's got Boyd and A.J. Green.
Adam Rank, you're looking in the direction of one Casey Jarrett Beathard, are you not?
You know it, yeah. I'm going to be rolling with C.J. Beathard in one of my leagues. These are the options that I'm left with when you're trying to stream quarterbacks. And look, last week against the Rams, not a great performance. That one stung a little bit, but previous to that, he had been a pretty solid fantasy option. He was scoring at least 17 points per contest. He looked like a guy who could come in and run this Kyle Shanahan offense to somewhat reasonable expectations. Obviously, he's not Jimmy Garoppolo, but still a serviceable quarterback.
He's better than Jimmy Garoppolo.
Would you stop?
Why? Why? Because Jimmy Garoppolo got paid more money, or because he's handsome? Huh?
Yeah, those are two valuable.
Come on, no.
He's better at
Don't hate on C.J. Beathard. Look at his numbers.
I'm literally sitting here saying that I'm streaming C.J. Beathard.
I know, but
how is that hating? How is that hating?
It's not.
How is that hating?
I got emotional.
You got way too much. You're doing to your feelings. Stop it.
Oh, now we're quoting Drake now?
Yeah, we are. Yes, we're going to be quoting Drake.
Adam, do you love me?
Okay.
Look, when that hotline bling, it can only mean one thing. Start C.J. Beathard.
Oh, dang. I'm looking at Eli Manning this week. Look, last week, Eli, very sneakily, was like a top 10 fantasy quarterback. He dropped $3.99 and a touch against the Atlanta Falcons, and he gets a fairly good matchup against the Washington defense that in the last 3 games has kind of been shown out. They've given up more than 300 passing yards per game in that stretch. And look, Eli, yes, he's had some bad games, but he's given you 19 or more fantasy points in 3 of his last 5. And I know 19 seems like sort of mediocre nowadays, but if you're talking about streaming a quarterback, look, you just want somebody who's not going to lose the week for you. And that potentially is Eli Manning. Keep throwing them checkdowns to Saquon. It might not be pretty, but it keeps ragging up those yards. And for fantasy purposes, that's really all we care about. That was Fantasy Insurance presented by Geico.